All right, we're rolling.
All righty. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody so we don't have a bunch of background noise. Okay, everybody's muted, but if you have something that you need to ask or say, you're welcome to unmute yourself. So I don't want you to feel like you don't have a voice. Hey, Christy, I saw where Christy just hopped on. See if there's anybody else that I missed. I think that's it so far. All right. All right, so this makeshift iPad stand thing I got going on here is not good, but we're gonna work with it anyway, I guess. All right. Hopefully it doesn't fall over like it did last week. I jotted down everybody's names who's on the call so I can do our giveaway for the gift cards. So since Karen is recording the video for us tonight, at the very end, I'm going to have her pick a random number and I'll just number this list and we'll see who wins. So tonight we're going to be talking about how knowing personality types can help you, not only you, in how you run your business and how you relate to the world, but also how you talk with other people that you are wanting to get interested in the products or joining your team. So we're going to start off with talking about some information from a book called The 4 Color Personalities of MLM, which stands for Multi-Level Marketing. And that's a book by a guy named Big Al. I think his last name is, hey, Melinda might have the book laying there. I know she might be able to hold it up. If not, it's no big deal. I'll post a link for it. But Schreider. Yeah, I can never remember his last name. Thank you, Melinda. Big Al Schreider. And so anyway, he came and spoke at one of the Plexus events at a leaders retreat or convention or something a couple years ago. But he has a really short and sweet book that kind of breaks people down into 4 basic personality types. He feels that everyone is a kind of a mix of all of them, but most people are predominantly one of 4 different colors. And so in this book that he writes, it's very, very broad generalizations and very extreme because he wants to get the point across. So he categorizes people who are reds or yellows or greens, and he goes completely overboard in describing them. Most people are not that extreme in any of those, but he wants to solidify in your mind what to look for when you're working with someone or talking with someone who's one of those types. This book is a super quick read. I mean, I think I had a course one day and I read through it, skimmed it pretty good in one sitting. So if you're trying to digest it, take notes and mark it up, it might take, a few hours, but it's a real quick read. You can get it on Amazon. The Kindle's $4.99, and then the paper version, I think, is $12 something. So, but anyway, it's a really good book. I highly recommend it. We're going to talk a lot about some of the stuff that's in there tonight and then some other stuff that I've added. So we're going to talk first about the color blue and people who are a blue personality. Blue personalities make up about 15% of the population. People who are blue love the word fun. Everything is fun. Oh, I can't wait to go out. It's going to be so fun. They talk with their hands a lot. A lot of people who are cheerleader types tend to be blue. Blue people are animated. They're happy. They smile a lot. They're sometimes loud. They talk a lot. They're okay being in the spotlight. These people are spontaneous. The great thing about blues is that they often don't take long to jump on with ordering as a customer or joining your team. They might try the pink drink once and say, oh, it's awesome. Yeah, sure, I'll sign up. Why not? So they're sometimes very spontaneous, which can work to your advantage when you are talking with someone who is a blue. Blues love compliments and recognition. They love stories. Tell them a story about your friend who used to deal with migraines, but now she doesn't anymore. They just love stories, and that's how they connect and relate. So if you're trying to prospect a blue and you're trying to get them to try the products, if you're sending them a detailed list of every ingredient that's in the triplex, they don't care. You're going to lose them because they really just want to know, is it going to work and is it fun? I mean, that's just really their sole motivation. And so they want to join, they want to be a part of things. They want to participate in things that are fun. So, they're going to want to go to convention, and they're going to want to hop on team calls, and they're going to, they're going to be the kind of people who live for travel, and they, those fast cash prizes like winning the Garmin watch, or, bonuses. And Blues love relationships. They typically have a large network of people. They're friends with a lot of people. So these are great people to have on your team. As customers, they're probably going to be pretty easy to work with. So, when you have people who are Blues, they're people lovers. Blues are really great, really quick to get people on board. So let's say you yourself are a Blue. So if you as an ambassador are a Blue, what are some positives to that? For one, you're going to strike up a conversation with anyone, anywhere. You're going to share with somebody at the grocery. You're going to share with someone at the gym because you're a people person. So Blues as an ambassador have a lot going for them. They're very encouraging and they're very motivating, and they're really great at setting up coffee dates and putting together sip and sees. They live for anything where they can get people together and make it like a party. So some places where a Blue might struggle a little bit with, they're really great at getting people to join their team, but they're maybe not so great at the part where they're training people or where they're following up with people. So, they're great at getting people on their team, but then maybe once that's not so, the training, that's not fun. They just want to do the fun stuff, talking to people and signing them up. So if you have a Blue who's under you, if you're an ambassador and you have a Blue on your team, you're going to have to make sure you're working closely with that person. Make sure that they are, they're getting their people the training that they need. I had a girl who joined my team probably 2 years ago, hit it like wildfire. I mean, she joined and she blew to the top of our PB list for 2 months straight, added like 10 people to her team in 2 or 3 months' time. And then all of a sudden, she got another job. She was waitressing. She was doing this and that and the other. And she had all these people that she had added to her team, but they weren't getting any support. So, with Blues, you have to think about that. Blues are also not long-term goal-oriented people. So if you're prospecting to a Blue and you're telling them in 5 years, you could be doing this and this, they don't care. They want to know that they could go silver and earn $100 this month. They want to know that there is something quick that they can do that's fun. They're really into those quick incentives, short goals. They're not really thinking down the road, 10, years down the road. So they're okay. Blues are okay following. They don't mind being a follower. They don't mind following someone who is a good leader. If you have a Blue on your team and they're real sensitive. So if you need to correct them, then you might need to keep it real light. Like, hey, okay, so why don't we try this? They're real sensitive to criticism and kind of being kind of told how to do things. So you have to be a little more gentle with them. What if we try this instead? They're awesome party hosts. So if you're wanting to do like a live event, get some Blues to help you because they are the crowd pleasers. They're the ones that are going to work the room, make sure everybody's, having fun. So Blues are great in that regard. If it starts not being fun and it starts feeling a lot more like work and not enough fun, you're probably going to lose a Blue because Blues, always have to keep bringing it back to fun. And so that's how they operate. That's what they thrive on. The other thing that Blues have to watch and be careful for, especially when they're working and prospecting with other people, is because Blues love to talk so much, it's really easy for them to take over and talk too much in a conversation with someone who is interested in the products. So Blues have to be real cautious that they're not doing more talking than they are listening. So I've heard it said we have two 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So we're supposed to, listen twice as much as we talk. And for blues, that's a little tough. So they have to kind of keep that in check when they are talking with people about the product. So, like I said, recap real quick. Blues love relationships. They're all about travel and fun. If you're trying to get a blue to join your team, they're going to jump on board. People like Celeste Gwen, the reason she joined Plexus is because she found out she could go to Hawaii. So blues, if they know they could drive a free Lexus and they get to travel, they're in. So, when you're talking with them about helping people, and that's just, it's not that they don't want to help people, but if they find out that, there's some awesome, fun stuff that they can participate in, that's what's going to get them. That's what's going to hook them. So, okay. Let's talk a little bit about, honestly, I don't know that we have a lot of blues on our team. I feel like there are some people that have a secondary color of blue, but I don't know that right now I feel like we have anybody who's a real strong blue on our team. I might be wrong, but I think there's a lot of people that would be their secondary, but I don't know that we have anybody, and at least not anyone that I know very well. There might be somebody that I just don't know who they are, but okay. Let's talk about the greens. If blues like fun, greens like facts, details, data, research. They want to know why. They want to know, how does it work? Why does it work? What's in it? Tell me everything. They love knowledge. The more they can learn, the better, the happier they are. Greens are very slow to make decisions. So if you're prospecting a green, I hope you have some patience, because it can take them many, many months to finally jump in. They're true skeptics by nature. I always thought I was red and blue, but the more I'm thinking about it, I do actually have a lot of green, and I might actually be more green because I was that skeptic. I was the one researching every ingredient in these products. So the greens love details. They're very analytical. They, like I said, they're slow to make decisions. In order to build trust with someone who is a green, you need to know your stuff. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying you have to know everything about every product, but if you can come back to a green who is struggling with why Slim has polydextrose in it, and you can come back to a green and you can find that answer, and you can come back and say to them, hey, I want you to know that polydextrose, it's from brown rice, it's not genetically modified, and it's a prebiotic, which means it feeds the good bacteria. You have won over a green if you can present them with facts, articles, information, and you can prove that you know your stuff, because their trust is built on knowledge. That's just how they operate. And so, greens are those people who are probably engineer types, or they're people who work with data. They're accountant type people. Those are people who love spreadsheets and numbers and facts. And my husband is super, super green. Like, his personality is very green. Lucy will tell you that she is a very green personality too. The other thing about greens is that they love to help. They love to answer questions. These are people who are trivia buffs. They're like the Cliff Clavin from Cheers. I mean, these are the people who, you need greens as a sideline friend, especially if you're a blue, because if you're all about fun, you don't really care about the details. You need some green friends, some sidelines, some Plexus friends that you can ask these questions. Oh my gosh, someone wants to know about, S. Boulardi. What's that? And those green people, they know the ins and outs of the products. They love to talk about the products. They're the people who will, who don't mind, sharing about the products, if they're at an event or something, because they know them inside and out. So if you're inviting a green personality to an event, to like a sip and see, you're going to want to use phrases like, there will be a lot of information. It'll be you're going to say you're going to be able to get a lot of your questions answered. There's going to be lots of information presented about these products. Don't tell a green it's going to be a blast. That's probably not something that's going to interest them. Going to an event that's going to be super fun, it's going to be a blast. They're not going to care about that. So, but telling them that they could get their questions answered. This is a great place to, learn more, to get some research. So asking them in a message, hey, can I get your opinion on this product? I'd love to get you as much information as you need. If you want to gather some research and get back with me, don't expect to send a green an article or information, and don't expect them to message you back the next day. Don't expect to hear from them quickly, because they need time to do their homework and to do their research. So, with a green, it's just something you're going to have to be extremely patient. Now, let's say you are a green. And as a green ambassador, some things you're going to have to be careful about is you probably are the kind of person that is going to overwhelm people with information. I wish I could go back to the beginning and like the paragraph essays I sent people with every detail of every ingredient of the triplex, because unless they're a green, they probably don't want all of those details. They don't need every ingredient and what it does and how it works. It's just too much. So if you're a green personality, you're going to have to dial that way back and not overwhelm people with the details of the ingredients. You're going to shut other colors down quickly when you're doing that. If you have a green on your team, let's say you have a green ambassador who's on your team, somebody who is like that, they're not going to be a fast starter. Those are not people who are going to hit the ground running and go, fast start gold. That's probably not going to happen. These are people who, once they are all in, are incredibly loyal. They're not going anywhere. They're 100% in when they're in, but it's going to take a while for them to get there. And once they decide to share the products and once they decide to work the business, they will be incredibly dedicated, but it's probably going to take them a while. Another pitfall of greens, something that they're going to have to look out for, is sometimes those green people, they will want to know everything before they get started. They won't want to share until they know everything. And you're never going to know everything. 3 years in, I still learn new things all the time. I learned something about plexus nerve the other day that I didn't know. So you're never going to know everything. So, as a green, if that's you and you're a green ambassador, you're going to have to recognize that it's okay to jump in. It's okay to share the products, even though you don't know everything yet. So don't let that trip you up and don't let that hold you back. Okay. If you tell a green ambassador, okay, I want you to make a list of 100 people and we're going to reach out to 50 people this week, that's going to shut them down in a hurry. They are going to probably flip their lid. So you're going to need to say things like, hey, how about, do you think maybe you could try to reach out to 3 people this week? They're going to need something that's a lot less in your face, because they're the kind of people that they just, they're generally not as comfortable in social situations or with large groups of people. And so, when you're trying to push them to go fast and go big and, that's not their personality. And so you have to recognize that with a green. Okay. Let's talk about yellows. I would say we probably have more yellows on my team. I probably have more yellows than any other color. And here's why. Yellow's primary word, their focus, what they live for is helping people. So yellows are typically teachers, doctors, nurses, counselors. Those are the professions, people who love to help other people. So yellow personalities are very trustworthy. You can tell them something, they're not going to blab their mouth about it. They're very trustworthy. They're very loyal. They're amazing friends. I would say the most of my really, really good friends are yellows, but everybody loves yellows. Everybody wants to be a yellow. I mean, and yellow people make friends easily because they're kind, they're genuine, they're more laid back. They don't get their feathers ruffled easily. They're just they're easy to get along with. Almost too easy to get along with. If you had a whole room full of yellows and you were trying to decide where to go to lunch, you'd probably never make a decision about where to go to lunch because every yellow would want the other yellows to pick where to go to lunch because the yellows don't want anybody to be upset or angry. They're peacekeepers. They just want everything to, go well and smoothly, and they don't like conflict. And so yellows tend to be those kind of people. So when you're talking with someone who is a yellow personality and they're just talking about, they might say things. First of all, you might know a yellow because they might hug you. Yellows tend to be a little more affectionate people. They're kind of more relational type people. So they might, hug you. I mean, you might know that a yellow, they're kind of more laid back, casual type people. So they're very big on relationships. Yellows, they like to have a few close friends. They're comfortable in smaller groups or one-on-one. That's kind of what they prefer. Harmony. So they may say things like they want to give back, or they want to contribute, or they want to help. They might use their feelings, words about I feel like, or I feel. And so that's how you know you're dealing with a yellow. So if you're trying to prospect to a yellow and you're trying to get them to order the products or join your team, if you tell a yellow, you know what? You could go to Hawaii. You could get a free Lexus. Diamonds make at least $500,000 a year. You just lost the yellows because they're not even in it for the money. They just want to help people. And so, I have somewhat of a hard time getting yellow ambassadors to want this business and to want to work it as a business, because a lot of them are like, well, I don't know. I just want to help people. And so it's like, and so when you're talking to a yellow, you have to bring it back to how can they help people? I know there are people in your life who are struggling right now. Can you think of anyone in your life who's struggling that these products could help? And if they're wanting to, if you're trying to get them to join your team, you're not going to be able to get them to join your team by telling them about the amazing trips or all the fun they could have, or about the money, the big money. But you could, if you told them, do you know how many people there are struggling with their finances? People, single moms who are trying to make ends meet, college students who would love the extra income. What about grandparents who are retired and, their Social Security is not cutting it? And look how many people you could help by sharing, this business with them. It's all going to come back to helping for the yellows. If you're trying to get them to come to an event, one of the ways that you can get them, you can play into their desire to help by saying, I'd love it if you could come to this event that I'm doing tonight. I mean, do you think you could come a few minutes early? I'm just feeling really nervous about it. And if you could help me maybe set up some chairs, or if you could maybe, help me make sure everything's ready, that would be really awesome. Do you think you could help me with that? The yellows will jump on it because they want to help. Or if you said, I'm speaking at this event tonight and I could really use a friendly face in the audience. I could really use your support. Do you think you could come and help me just by being there? So those are ways that you can ask a yellow to participate in something that you're doing. Yellows care very much about their customers, and they care very much about their teams. They want their upline to be successful. They want their downline to be successful. Sometimes they care more about their team's success than their own success. And that's a pitfall of yellows. Yellows can try to put their team's needs above their own needs, and sometimes forget that they need to be working on their own business too. Yellows tend to not share about the business. If I see someone with consistently high PV, I know they're sharing the products. If they're not adding new ambassadors, I know they're not sharing the business. So the yellows sometimes struggle with setting goals because, again, they're not thinking, ranking up. They're not thinking, they just want to help people. So for them, setting goals for sales or setting goals for, adding people to their team, that doesn't register on their radar. So sometimes goal setting is a challenge for a yellow ambassador. They have a little bit of trouble when it comes to interpersonal, issues. If someone on their team is having an issue with another member on their team, yellows just don't like conflict, and so they tend to not want to deal with conflict. If a customer has an issue with an order and they have to deal with customer service and they have to get a little firm with customer service, that's not comfortable for a yellow. Yellows generally don't like having to confront or having to go out of their way to deal with a resolution and deal with a conflict. So, all right. Lori Welch is our diamond upline. Lori is a yellow personality. She's very sweet and kind, just the nicest woman, very kind of laid back and chill. And she recruited Kristen Abart, who is also one of our diamond uplines. Kristen is a red personality. Lori and Kristen are very different in how they lead, and that's okay, and that works. Carrie Bilbrey, who's my upline, is a yellow. Also very sweet, very kind, very laid back, encouraging, and just all those things that a yellow person, is. And so now we're going to come to the last color, and I saved this for last for a reason, because I could probably talk the most about this. The red personality is, when you think red, a lot of people think bold, bossy, decisive, leader, big money. Reds are natural born leaders. They're often entrepreneurs. They work really well in an environment where they can be self-motivated, where they don't have someone telling them how to do it, where to do it, and when to do it. Reds really enjoy being the boss of themselves. They love a challenge. If you have a red on your team, you probably do not have to encourage them to set goals. They are goal-oriented people. They've probably already set goals for this year and next year too. Red people despise chit-chat. They really don't care about, all the things that your dog's going through right now and, how your mom did this and this. Like, they just, chit-chat is not their thing. So reds, they want to just get to the point. So if you're talking with someone who is a red personality, they just want the end result. So what's going to happen if I drink this pink drink? Tell me what's going to happen. That's what I want to know. So they are kind of, get to the point, give me the facts. I don't need the extra stuff. Just tell me the end result. What do I need? So if you are prospecting a red personality, you're probably not going to say things to them like, you could help a lot of people. Do you know people you could help? What you could tell them is, you know what? If you share these products with a few people, you could easily earn $500-$600 a month. Wouldn't that be great? And they would say, yeah, that'd be awesome. Let me tell you a quick story. I was somewhere the other day and I ran into this lady, didn't know her at all. I happened to overhear that she used to run a nonprofit organization, and that just kind of sparked something in me. And it was one of those things where I'm like, do I talk? Do I say something and get a conversation going, or do I just keep my mouth shut, because then I can just do my own thing and not have to get involved in a conversation? So that's kind of where I was. And I thought, no, I've got some time to kill. I'll talk to this lady. And so I said, I was asking her about her business that she did. And this lady proceeds to say all of the things that reds are in a matter of 3 minutes. She's amazing at sales. I've been up at the top of the sales leaderboard for every job I've ever had. Money and goals and leadership, and she embodied red. And I was like, woo, I need to get her number. So I friended her on Facebook and I got her card because I was like, I have never seen anyone more red than that lady was. I mean, she exuded confidence. If I wasn't a red, I would have been so intimidated by this lady, but I'm not. So I have to hurry because I don't want to run out of time. Okay, so Reds love recognition and praise. You know, if you give them a job to do, they don't mind, you know, helping. They would prefer it to be kind of something that's not behind the scenes, though. So a Red would rather sit at the front table at an event and, you know, greet everyone on their way in and take names for a drawing than sit up chairs beforehand. So, you know what I mean? Like if you have a Red do something, they would rather kind of it somewhat be, I wouldn't say in the spotlight, but they don't mind. If you ask them to speak at an event, they don't mind being in the forefront. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, so Reds are amazing. And when you're approaching a Red personality, I think the biggest thing is don't be intimidated. They're people. They might seem like they're confident and they might seem bold and they might seem unapproachable, but I promise you, they just need these products. So the biggest tip for prospecting a Red is do it. Do it. Reach out to them. They're not going to bite you, I promise. So let's talk about some pitfalls of being a Red. Well, they can be bossy. They can be hard to coach. If you have a Red person on your team, they tend to not like really to take suggestions. They tend to be a little hard to coach. They want to do it themselves. The problem with Reds is they can sometimes get into management mode. And the problem with that is that sometimes they can get so focused on managing their team that they're not working their own business. So that can sometimes be a pitfall for Reds. Another pitfall, they can push too hard. They cannot be sensitive. For example, if you were running alongside of them, you might trip and fall and the Red might be 2 miles down the road before they realize that you're not with them anymore and that you fell and you're hurt and you're 2 miles back. Because sometimes they kind of just push forward, push forward and not really realize that they left somebody behind. Reds need to make sure that they are slowing down and doing that chit chat, that relationship building. They need to be talking with the blues and the yellows, and they need to be asking how they're doing and being empathetic to their situation and to what's going on, and to realize that not everyone goes at the same pace they do. I'll add a couple other things before we close. I am a Red, and I know that I'm a Red, and I've always been a Red, so I know where my strengths are and I know where my weaknesses are. And I know that not everyone has the same personality as me. And I think that the Red personality is probably the most misunderstood. And I think if you're having problems with someone who is a Red because you're feeling like they are domineering or not hearing you, or they're not letting you try things your way and they're trying to be too bossy, can I just encourage you, confront them. I know that's hard for you, especially if you're a yellow or if you're the kind of person that doesn't want to deal with conflict, but I bet you money that you probably are misunderstanding them. I know this for a fact, guys, because I've had ambassadors tell me that other ambassadors on our team have come to them because they have an issue with me, with something I've done, with something I've said, with the way I've, approached them or led. And I just ask you, please come to me. I appreciate your constructive criticism, and I want to grow as a leader. And I can't do that if I don't know what those issues are. So please come to me and bring those issues to me so that I can deal with them. Because I promise, if you go to another ambassador just to commiserate about how I am being too bossy or whatever, they can't fix it. Only I can. So I just want to be a good leader for this team. And I know that being a yellow personality with a red leader can be challenging. I'm sure of that. I'm sure if you're a slow, casual, kind of wants to help everybody person, and your leader is like a, come on, let's do it, go, goals. I get that that's not always easy. And I'm trying very hard to work on those aspects of myself and my leadership. So just know that I want to know if I'm doing that. Just call me out on it. Hey, you're being a little too red today. Could you just dial it back a little bit? All right. So we just have a couple of minutes left. If anybody wants to unmute themselves and share what color they are, that would be interesting to hear. I think I know what a lot of you are, but I'm going to unmute everybody. Anybody want to shout out their color? Come on, Christy, you know you want to.
I'm 3 of the 4. I am
green.
not blue. Yeah.
Yeah. You're pretty green, I think.
Green and then I think yellow and red mixed.
Karen, you want to share yours?
I think I'm a lot of red with a little bit of yellow.
I agree. You're orange. Anybody else know what theirs is?
I'm probably green and yellow.
Okay, green and yellow.
For Jessica, I'm definitely more yellow than any of them, but I am able to be whatever I need to be for the situation that I'm in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
A chameleon.
Yes. Well, I'm probably
Yes, that's what
I'm probably going to get cut off any second now. So I want to make sure I say goodbye and good night before we close out, or else it's going to be really awkward on the video. So, okay. So in case we get cut off, bye, good night. Does anybody else know what color they are this year?
I think I'm a little bit of each one.
I think we all are.
I don't really think that I have a dominant one. At least I don't